or whatever. But when you take your art seriously, it forces those around you to understand and learn.
That's true.
That this is serious to me. I take myself seriously. I will show up for my art seriously.
That's going to kind of spread around the world around you. You know, but if you stand with this confidence of, I love doing this, this makes me alive, this is what I am, this is what I love doing, people are going to feel that, sense that,
You
hear
teach
that.
people how to treat you. Welcome to the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist podcast, where artists of all kinds come to fuel their passion, sharpen their skills, and thrive in their creative lives. I'm your host, Lara Bianca Pilcher, life and creativity coach and fellow artist, here to support you on your artistic journey. Whether you're a performer, writer, visual artist, or any kind of artist, this is the space for real talk, practical advice, and inspiring stories. Subscribe and join us each week for more inspiration and actionable insights to fuel your artistry. Let's dive in and get inspired. This is going to be our Valentine's episode.
Hey.
I like to be evergreen with my episodes. That's something I've always tried to do, but it is Valentine's week. This happens to fall a few days before. But I thought, what a great opportunity to do an episode on how to love an artist and why it matters more than you think. So being an artist isn't just something I do. It's who I am. It's who I've always been. And if you're in a relationship, as I am, if you're in a relationship with an artist, you probably already know that creativity can be a whole personality of its own. So we're here in our walk-in robe. We're moving house soon. I'm actually going to have an office. I'm so excited where I can permanently have this stuff set up. Oh, thank God.
With clothes all around your head.
Oh my gosh, I've got some nice clothes in here. And I also have a drink, and Andrew has a drink. Not a drink. Well, it is a cheeky drink, actually.
Cheeky drink.
It
Cheers.
is a cheeky drink.
Cheers, everyone.
I was going to tell you the truth. But anyway, I thought I would start with asking you, babe, my husband here, how long have we been married again? I lost track. It was like 6 we got married. So are we 18 years, 19 years this year? Who cares? No, I care, but for the sake of, when you're sitting around the table and that person's like trying to remember something and it's not really important at that moment.
And that's all good for a man. You got to remember. You got to know the years, and if you don't, you get your cut off. But anyway.
Oh my gosh, he did. He just said that. Yeah. All right. Okay. So, babe, what first attracted? It's so funny. Just before we started recording, Andrew read the first line of our discussion. All we have in front of us is just some discussion points. But I said, "What first attracted you to me as an artist?" And he said,
your legs.
My legs. So there's the depth of today's conversation for you. What was it like realizing that creativity wasn't just something that I did back in those days, 20 years ago we're going back, but a core part of who I am?
Well, for me, it was quite different because I had a creative background, musician background, but I'd gone into physio world, so physiotherapy. So for me, it's all science, it's all rationale, it's all like, seeing clients, it's all, my world's that. And then, she's producing an event, performing in something or other, and then kind of the next day early, she's up and she's creating something new.
Yeah,
she's
that's when we were married though, but like right at the start.
Before we were married, and that was when we were dating.
Oh, how did you know I was up?
You were up. I knew because we were texting. So you were
I
up
was
and
texting you.
You were planning new things.
Because we didn't live together till we were married.
Whatever, and it was just always on the move. And I'm like, gee, like this goes deep
wired. Yeah.
to her core that she wants to create a platform to create. She doesn't only just love to perform, but she's like creating events and creating opportunities too, and that sort of thing. So
true.
It's just down to the core and who she is, and she's thinking about how we're going to do that event. We need a dance floor. We need this, and I can find dance floors in this place and get it. And so she's
always wired.
Yeah.
But what was it about artistry in particular? Like, I remember you telling me in the early days of us dating that, I'd always have these little dancers around me, I used to run a dance studio, and there was lots of little kids, and they'd always run around me, and you'd see me leading them and see me working through choreography with them. And I remember you liking that. There was something about not just probably the motherly side of me back then, but just
I just saw you loved it. You loved telling story through dance, narrating and the communication side of the art form. And I saw you came alive. So it was awesome to see. But what I loved in that early times is that, you did so many varied things. But being creative was adventurous. And for me, a very structured, safe, clinical world where science is really a safety net, really. Like there's a creative side to science, of course, but so for me, you were just this person who everything, life, what you'd eat, things we do in the weekends or whatever else, plans would be so spontaneous and that was so different for me. So that was a big side where I was like, I like this girl. This is good for me.
It's a wild, crazy animal.
That was my choice, really. Yeah.
It's true, like creativity for me, and I don't want to stereotype, but I definitely think that it's this force that we are all born with, but some of us really know how to work it, and how to maximize that flow in our lives. All right, so I want to talk about discussion point 1, which is love the artist, not just the art. So, Andrew, you've always been one of my biggest supporters.
Oh, yeah.
No understatement. But I know that early on you probably didn't realize how much being an artist was part of my identity, or maybe you did. I don't know. What was that learning curve like for you?
Well, I just wanted everything that I did to be like, let's support the things you do. Because what's important to you is important to me. So that wasn't hard. I could see that's what you wanted to put your effort into and energy into. So I wanted to be there with you. So
that's actually no small thing, that it was important to me, so it was important to you. So I think that's like the biggest learning point there is loving the artist, not just the art. It's not that... any part of a relationship, really, you want to be, if it's important to the person, whether it's art or something else, it's important to you because it matters to them and they matter to you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the learning there. And
I think that's the thing. People see you perform somewhere, or you're doing some great event or a role or something, and I have this sort of taste in my mouth of like, well, you don't know the person, you don't know the half of it because I get her home, I know how she ticks, and this is just one part, and this for her is so much more than the role she's playing, and she's doing it really well, or the dance she's created, but for her it's part of the bigger journey. And like, we're not going to play this song anymore for 6 to 8 months because she's played it on repeat for 3 months consistently to rehearse and nuance the choreography, whatever else. But so little things like that. But it's like this for her as a choreographer is a different thing to just what that is on stage.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, for those who maybe are just tuning in, like I am a writer and actor, but when Andrew met me, I was a dancer full time, and I still am a dancer. I think you always are, but I would say now a former dancer. And I was choreographing and directing and doing a lot of other hats. So I'm quite multifaceted as a creative person. Yeah. Okay, so encouraging an artist even when they feel stuck or frustrated or questioning themselves is really, really huge for the listeners. Some of the most meaningful support I've received from Andrew isn't about my work. It's about believing in me as an artist. That's been huge for me because there's times where I really doubt my art, and in doing so, it feels like I'm doubting myself. And I think every artist feels that, and I've definitely had my fair share. But Andrew's always the one that believes in me, and always. I remember seeing a film. I don't remember the name of the film, but I think it was Meryl Streep, and she was playing a character where she was a really bad singer, like in the role, like really bad opera singer. And I remember turning to Andrew and going, "You're not like lying to me, are you? That I'm really bad as an artist, like this character." And her husband in it was just like, "You're wonderful, darling," and he was just lying to her. And feeding into this lie. I was like, "You're not doing that to me, are you?" I'm like, when I feel really doubtful of myself, do you actually believe in me as an artist? Am I okay at this? And Andrew's been that person that says, I believe in you because I've seen it, because we've been together a long time.
But I think as a loving an artist is that person where, you're not sitting there cutting them to shreds, and you know how to communicate well to them.
Yeah,
you know how
that's
to
true.
do feedback or be honest or just even listen. Because after performances, she'll just sort of, vent and bring this sort of side of what happened. And I'm there to support. So I'm there to say, wow, what happened? And let me just be a sounding board for you. But they really want honesty. You really need honesty.
That's true.
And so, when she'll have doubtful moments, as I have doubtful moments in my profession, and she'll have them and she'll be like, oh, what is this? And I can speak truth and just say, you're feeling like this right now, but honey, you've done this and this and this. I know how you are. I know how good you are. I know, you're good. So when she's doubtful, it's just like, you got this. Come on, step up,
That's true. So, we do really want honesty, but not like brutality. We want the truth, because who else is going to be totally honest other than like trolls and critics that, sometimes don't necessarily see the big picture of what we're doing as artists. That honesty is so important to me, especially in the gentle landing pad, like the soft landing pad it is to hear it from you. And I do trust your opinion. And then also you're very creative yourself, because you grew up in musician and acting and things, and he works with artists full time.
Yeah, and having a background, it helps, but I do see a lot of theatre.
You're around artists
acting,
constantly,
a lot of dancing. So it has given me more taste and more like...
You really get artists, like you are wired to get us now, because this is the main people, your people.
It's my people.
These are your people.
These are my clan.
Yes. All right. So artists don't always have big, obvious career milestones. This is my next discussion point. Babe, when did you start realizing that success isn't just about landing a big opportunity for me? Because you've seen me evolve in this, because at times there's been creative wins that you've learned to recognize in my journey. Like I wrote all day, or I edited all day, or I created this piece, but it might not necessarily be something the world is praising. Why do you think these moments matter? The small creative wins, not just the thing when I'm like, I want to make it on West End, which was in London my goal, and and the only place I saw success was getting that goal, and I worked my butt off for it. So what do you see now as success for an artist?
Well, I saw it say in London, is that every little role that you land, whether it be off West End,
true,
or the radio show that you recorded, and all these things
BBC,
aren't the limelight. They're not the, she's made it, or a huge thing, but they're all something you've landed.
True. Yeah.
And so everything you've landed for me is like super success. Open the red wine. Let's get into it. You know what I mean? Let's celebrate, because every thing you land, or every opportunity you're given, and yes that you get in the industry, which is 95% no or more,
true.
People, that, is to be celebrated. And so they're just another little opportunity. Everything is just another little opportunity.
That's so amazing that you say that, because I think too, like in London, you go there thinking, or wherever it is for you, it might be you're in Nashville and you're writing music, or you're a writer and you're trying to get your first literary agent, or you're a painter and you're trying to get your work seen, or just someone to buy a piece or be in an exhibition, whatever that looks like for you. We often have that big goal that we start out with, and then you don't realize what a huge achievement it is. And in my context, in this context, I was in London, and, any work you booked in off West End, it's like off Broadway, that circle of people were all the professionals that were also working on West End. So to be good enough to even be in the off West End, because I'm trying to remember the exact numbers and I can't off the top of my head, but it was something like 132 theatres in London, and or off West End, off.
Yeah, smaller venues.
Like off West End venues. And in that circle in London, there was such a high level of talent, and it was the same in Broadway. And I'd say it's a similar thing in Nashville. Like there's all these really great artists that are signed, but then all the people actually gigging in the day-to-day in all of the I don't know what they're called there, pubs, venues, music venues, they're all excellent artists. Yeah. And so to get any of that, you realize is a huge career achievement. And you started to see that because you were in it and you were experiencing that, and your encouragement was huge in that area for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that's huge. The creative journey is full of unseen progress, and when you acknowledge those moments in a relationship, it makes a huge difference. So make sure the learning point for you guys is, in this lovely Valentine's episode, is to really try and get your head in the game for the artist you're with, or you know, you might want to give this episode to somebody that needs to learn about being with an artist, or future goals, #future goals for yourself.
Could I say, like, it's sometimes communicating what your goals are. So if you've landed something and they see it and going to go, what is that? And that's, who's that with? And it's no one that's known or something.
Yeah.
Or it's not your end goal. And they say, well, okay, well, whatever. And they don't know the importance of it.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, so communicate well like that, like, look, any opportunity is great. And so they get the importance of that. Because otherwise you're just sitting there alone.
That's
You're not
true.
really seen and heard, are you?
Yeah. And I mean, again, this goes for, like, it's important for me to recognise the big wins for Andrew, even if it's indirectly creative. All right, let's move on. Understanding the highs and lows of creativity. That's a big one for relationships. So I want to definitely talk about this, because creativity isn't linear. Some days I feel unstoppable, and other days I feel like I'm never going to have a good idea again and I'm washed up and it's all over. Or will anything ever work out for me? And Andrew, have you ever found this personality? Have you ever found this challenging to navigate? And be real.
Yes.
I don't care. People can know.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm just slow on the uptake as a man, you know, rather men are just kicking it and they're like, yeah, I get that. Or, you know, but yeah, you're not me. And, you know, so when there's conflict or that you're having a hard
I'm definitely
time,
emotional.
I want to solve it, you know. So
true.
and that's a male thing, and I know to stop solving. Andrew, listen, you know, I know, but I also just don't get how you can flip from one thing to the other and how it's all so connected. So I've learned just to slow and say yes. Like, I think you said to me, reading from a book or something, you were like, my mind is more like a flower, an interconnected galaxy of different points. And I'm
What
like,
did I say?
me, I'm pretty linear. Yeah. And it's often just to do with I'm hungry. Oh, no, I'm joking.
Yeah, I get you.
But anyway, so it's, you know, it's different. We're all different.
That's true. So what was it like learning to support me, though, like through the years, and how's it changed?
Yeah. I think it's just been a growing process to notice, I'm jumping in to solve things, or I'm jumping in to defend myself for something, but, you know, that I've done to affect her or something like that. You know, so I think that's just like any relationship as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think early on I could get focus on the first thing you're talking about.
Yeah.
When I started quickly to realize, this is all linked to the creative project you're doing, or this is linked to you training as a dancer, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I learned to step back and go, just go with the flow, Andrew. let it saute a bit and just, you know, just see how it connects. And like, so sometimes my okay was like, okay. But in my head, it was actually like, okay? Like, how is that? What? I know what's going on, but leave it. Okay. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
That's funny.
So let it just roll, because, you know,
I love the saute metaphor. Just let her saute a bit there.
Yeah.
Just don't worry. Don't try and get it all. Don't try and work it all out. She just needs to vent.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's like Andrew's. You just had an aha moment. He was like, that's what it is. She doesn't need it. She just needs to vent. We're still learning, aren't we? And that's been a huge game changer for me, letting you realizing that. Having someone who doesn't panic when I'm in a creative rut, but instead just reassures me that everything's going to be okay and is listening and just lets me that's just what I need.
But the lows, like, they happen, right, as performers.
Plenty of lows, yeah.
You know, and so with those, like, it's not my normal to step into that. That's been a place of learning, place of growing for me to get more comfortable with disappointments, things that aren't going so well, or notice it even more so with kids. Our kids, if they're having a bad time or they hurt themselves or whatever else, I want to fix and whiz them up and sort of like not deal with the tears and the hard stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
And so that's harder for me. And so just to kind of sit in that with you, and I've learned to do that more. as I've got more comfortable with that.
That's a really good example
It's
because
uncomfortable.
it's so like what we realize when someone's in pain is our default is to make it go away and make it feel better, and I think we do that because it makes us feel better, and
'cause
we
I
feel
don't
so
like
uncomfortable.
the uncomfortable, but it's your thing. So Andrew, whoa, what?
Yeah.
But it's the power. If I can sit with you with that, it's super powerful, and I feel really conflicted. It's like I need to go and like do some venting myself, or I need to do some unloading myself afterwards.
Yeah.
But you feel like, oh, that was really powerful. Thanks, honey. And I'm like, I just need some time myself.
Oh, it's so true because I've experienced incredibly big lows where something has happened in my arts career, like
Every artist does.
that just has absolutely taken the wind out of my sails or completely taken my confidence for a bit or whatever. And it's been a journey for me too, because, earlier days of putting myself out there at the level I was, for example, West End or going for feature films, the closer I got, the more I pushed into that, the more I wanted it. And in the early days, and we're going back years now, I would start planning my life. I would start talking to you about possibly how's this tour going to work. Now I don't even do that. Now I just do the audition and I'm detached from the outcome. But that took time.
Yeah.
And resilience takes time. And learning how to deal with the lows takes time. And a lot of me learning how to deal with those lows has been not to put so much weight into opportunities, knowing that the chances of booking or getting across the line or getting signed or getting that deal or whatever it is for you, no, hold them lightly.
Yeah.
But go for them, yes, but hold them lightly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've had to let go of my little grip there.
Mm.
All right, discussion point 4. Give them space to create and don't take it personally. Oh, gosh. Wait. It's so funny, this one, because the other day I was like, I have a publisher interested in my book. I've been talking to you guys about this for a while, and that there was a publisher and he wanted the completed manuscript. And I was like, oh my gosh, up until this point, I've only given my sample chapters, which is the standard sort of thing you do with writing. They kind of ask for your first couple of chapters and they base it off that. But this was my whole manuscript. And I kind of went, oh my gosh, this is the first time I've gotten this far with it. And this was just this week. And so I think I spent about 48 hours straight writing. And I was in like that creative zone. And this is all about space to create. So, babe, what was that like for you? What did you see and what did you feel and what did you experience?
Well, it was like Lara in a different zone. But I've come to accustom to that. So it's kind of like, oh, she's in that zone. Oh. And I'm kind of like, if I could see in the invisible, I could see like, angels around her, and I could see like trees growing around her, and this little like so because she's just like she's getting things done and she's beaming, so it's just don't ask many questions, don't drain from her train of thought, and just say, can I support in any way, can I help in any way, and then just keep the house quiet. Have like the kids to align to what's happening and just say, hey, let's give mum some space. And we're in a house right now where it's very hard to find space.
Yeah, we really
and
are.
so
It's
like,
tiny. Yeah.
That's important for her right now. So let's do something quiet, and you get in your rooms and you do something quiet, and we'll respect that, So
yeah.
That's cool.
That's true.
But like what it's meant is that sometimes you've been out creating in a dance studio late at night and not coming home. So, that was like a different location. So that was like, oh,
but here I am right in front of you and you can see I'm working. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just knew that, that's her zone, she needs it. So, okay, well, let's just adapt and meld and see. Because creatives know if you get in a zone, like you can't quite plan exactly when that's going to happen. You can kind of like give it time, and I think giving time for creatives is a powerful thing. But almost like when that turns into this creative flow, sometimes you got to ride that and just stay
ride
late
that
and
wave.
do that, ride the wave.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that sometimes just is unplanned. You got to keep flexibility in your life.
Yeah. And for, picture this artist, like whether that's somebody that's, painting, or somebody that's in the writing trance as I was, or you're in the middle of, I've got this great idea and it's all just flowing and it's coming together. Now, sometimes I do schedule the time because I'm like, I know, and in this case I knew I had to write all weekend to do refining edits and things like that. But there's other times, like Andrew said, when inspiration strikes and you just want to kind of ride that wave. And life is happening around you while this is happening. So how did you learn to recognize when I need uninterrupted time? And has that been hard for you?
Yeah, I think I've noticed when you're dying to spend time on that, because my work schedule, the space in the house, and there's practical needs, or kids are off school another day because of snow in Atlanta.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But if I can just see you're past your boiling point, and like there's just been too many things blocking you to spend that time, and I can see we need to just shift a whole lot of things out of the calendar, and we need to get you with some alone time with that. You need to get into that.
Oh, that's so good. Like, that understanding makes a huge difference for me. And it's not about ignoring people. It's about needing to get lost in my work sometimes, and desperately needing to create, because that is who I am. So, I mean, if you're listening to this and you've got someone in your life, like we said earlier, share this episode with them. Hopefully it helps. They might just get some sparks of how we navigate this in our day-to-day life over many years, because it can be a difficult point, because sometimes there's some relationships or situations where they don't understand you as an artist, or maybe don't understand what it's like really saying, I'm doing this is a serious part of my life. And I think one of the biggest beauties that Andrew has given me in this marriage is to take seriously what I take seriously, that my art is such a huge part of my identity. If it was gone, that would be a stupid thing to even entertain that thought, because creativity is our birthright. So creativity is always going to be there, whether you express it through cooking or through, administration, whatever your creativity outlet is. This for me is where I've found that, and I've always been an artist. That's been my career choice. Andrew married that, and he knows that. But I know that it can be a difficult thing. I've heard spouses argue about it, where the husband's like, he doesn't understand how important it is to the wife, or vice versa, and it's just like a silly little hobby or whatever. But when you take your art seriously, it forces those around you to understand and learn.
That's true.
That this is serious to me. I take myself seriously. I will show up for my art seriously. Boom, mic drop moment. Sorry, this is just... It's so good.
That's a good moment.
Yeah.
It's like if you take yourself seriously, rather than the self-deprecating or the self-analyzing.
Yeah, or not putting time for it. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And just if you sit really with the perspective of like, I'm going to fail, or it's never going to be good, that's going to kind of spread around the world around you. You know, but if you stand with this confidence of like, not so much about how good it is, but like, I love doing this. This makes me alive. This is what I am. This is what I love doing. People are going to, feel that, sense that,
you
hear
teach
that,
people how to treat you.
and then go like, makes sense. It's who you are. Like,
Yeah, that's so good.
That's
so
good.
Believe in your artist, especially when they don't believe in themselves, because every artist has moments where they wonder if they're good enough. Have you seen me go through this? We did touch on it before, but I've had so many moments, haven't I, feeling like I'm just not enough, whether it's writing or dancing or after a rejection, or when there's a quiet time where nothing's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think recognizing that that's a normal part of being an artist, that there's times of nothing.
Yeah.
And there's times of abundance, and there's times of very long, dry spells as well.
Absolutely.
What do you do when I doubt myself creatively? What words or actions have made the biggest impact in those moments?
I'm just trying to think of what the most important things are, or the most useful things, but pretty much just sharing the why, sharing with you the why are you feeling this way, what's sent you here, what's got you here, because I know who you are, and I saw the high 2 days ago. What's going on in the last 2 days? But just sharing with them that is really powerful, because you can just be brought into the journey a bit more. And I think not so much quickly refuting the negativity or whatever else. It's more just like, you're feeling that. Oh, you're feeling that. I think kind of echoing a little bit of what they're saying, and not quickly refuting, sort of saying, oh, don't think that. Think about this, and like don't throw reasons or try and solve that situation, because there's something deeper, something bigger that they're processing.
That's true.
So I find reflecting a little bit, actively listening type thing, but fairly quickly coming into a sense of truth, a sense of, I know this about you. This is the truth about you. You're an amazing performer. Look, you're going to need just some days with this. I'm here for you, but I know you're going to pull through.
Yeah.
And I know it's not going to be the same,
That's
or
good.
just the truth of like, opportunities come and go. You never know what comes around the next day.
Yeah.
You never know. You never know if you get some callback. You never know when the callback's going to happen. Come on,
that's
actors,
true.
right? Good Lord. Like, it's crazy. It's just like, the callback. I'm getting a callback from 2 months ago. And then the other way, we're worried 2 weeks later, like, they hate me. Like,
that's true. And it's funny because, like, Andrew's also learned alongside me not to get super excited. It's like, I said to him last week, I had an audition that, as we do, many self-tapes actors that we do, and it was for a feature. And I got an email from my agent, which is that thing where it's like, you're going through to the next round. The producers are looking at it. And I was like, well, that's a huge achievement.
Yeah.
That means that I got through just the casting director thing into the producer's room, and I'm being seen by people of this feature. This is huge. It's a great achievement. But that's where I have to leave it emotionally, because, I don't, and Andrew either, he knows too, because he's been around this for a while, that I can't get excited about booking from there. It just means that that's it. That's my win, that I got to there, and then I was taken seriously, and that makes me, that's the thing I hold on to. But Andrew knows not to get super excited. Oh, babe, look, you might book this. Is my, You don't do that. And also when I'm really low, I'm going to pull through it.
Yeah.
So that's been huge, hasn't it?
So I think it's reflective listening, and just listening actively, probably more than just to kind of like, that sucks, and just sort of join with them, but then relatively not too late in the conversation, zoning into like, you've achieved so much, honey, and you've done so much in so many fields, or just saying some truth of honest,
I see
real,
you. I know you.
affirmation amongst it all is super powerful.
Because I want to be seen, known, loved, believed in as an artist. And I do. I believe in myself, and I think that's why I'm still doing this. Is that I believe, like when I've had huge rejections, and there's been some huge hits, just like all of us, but what picks me up is that I believe in myself. I have audacious hope that I have the ability to get to where I want. And if I haven't got the skill, that I can get to where I want through learning. That's why I say it's not delusion. It's just this really brave hope that I carry that sustains me. And I have evidence through many, many years of doing this. And those little things where you get in the producer's room, or, you get a literary agent signing you after reading 2 chapters or whatever, that I go, there's enough evidence to say that I have what it takes. And me believing in me matters, because Andrew can't do all the believing for me. You have to believe in yourself. You've got to carry your own weight, but also it helps when Andrew steps in when I have my moments of doubt. And I do. I still do, because I'm human. We go through a lot of emotions. So loving an artist isn't about just praising what they make. Oh, that's so good. Or being dishonest. We said, no, we want honesty. It's about presence, like being a part, of what's going on for them. One of our favorite sayings right now is what's coming up for you right now.
Yeah.
What's coming up for me right now? And sort of looking at that. Patience. Andrew's very patient with me. Understanding the creative journey for what it really is. So what advice would you give to someone, babe, who loves an artist but doesn't always know how to support them?
I would kind of get ahead of time. So ahead of like, I'm feeling a bit down about this, that, the other. Kind of when you're both in a bit more of a proactive or constructive sort of a zone, probably on a date or something, or just kind of get like, I know that's important to you. Like, tell me more about it. What's important to you about it? And so just hear what they find, what they're passionate about in that art form, and what their goals are. Like, just so you can share with them, like, I talked to this sort of person, he's a booking agent, so that's a big win. Cool, awesome. Not just this little like, so share with them that. So I get ahead of the time. So proactive conversations to kind of know and share what's important to them. What can you share with all that, and then just ask, like, I'd be asking, what can I do to help, and so that's easy for me. I'm a helper type of personality.
That's his personality, yeah.
So if some of you aren't, okay, but kind of like, do you need money? Do you need that? Like if there's just however authentically for you, whether it's just understanding and kind of going, okay, that's, I'd love to hear more about that or whatever else. But just whatever's authentic to you, that you can be like, what can I do to get alongside you?
Yeah. That's true. And it's been times where our finances have been so tight. So when you say, do you need money, whatever, it's like, I need to do headshots and it's a non-negotiable. Like, we have to make this work in our budget. Andrew gets that. Like, he knows that that's part of the career, and it's not like, of course we have to pay for the groceries and there's other things. So there's some flexibility with the timing of it, but you do take my art seriously. And that means the world to me. Having a moment here, guys, as I reflect and talk to you. My eyes are welling up with tears, but it's meant the world to me to be with somebody that supports me as an artist the way Andrew does. And I think part of that is me taking myself seriously. That's been like a huge takeaway. So guys, I'm closing out this episode, but if you're an artist, share this episode with someone who supports you, or share it with somebody who you know needs this support, because relationships are a major part of everybody's life. If you're in one, you could be struggling, or you could want one where this is relevant to you. I also have things to help you, lots of freebies available to you on my website, larabiancapilcher.com, where you can grab help for being stuck in a creative rut. It's just a free download. If you go to my homepage, you'll find it. The show notes will have this episode sort of outlined as well. That's at larabiancapilcher.com/blog. And pass even that link on to people to help those around you understand the creative world better. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who needs it, because we're with you on the journey, friends. And until next time.
Good to be with you.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in to the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss an inspiring conversation or actionable insight. You can read the show notes and learn more at larabiancapilcher.com. And be sure to share this episode with fellow artists who could use a little extra inspiration. Until next time, keep creating, stay audacious, and remember, your artistry matters.